Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Chi and we're here for another girl talk. In this video I want to talk about the things I value in friendship and what friendship really means. I'm sure I'm going to touch on what I've experienced when it came to friendship, but I really want the focus to be about what I've learned and what I am hoping to continue to experience when it comes to friendship. Long story short, I feel that my experience with friendship from my late teens, really throughout my teens up until about my early 20s, were horrific. I've had some good moments with friends here and there. I had a best friend that I'm no longer friends with now, but in that time period was my dog. But after that, up until about my mid 20s, early mid 20s, I just struggled with friends. Like, I didn't really have my girls, and that's something I desperately wanted, was like a group of girlfriends, and that wasn't something that I was experiencing, nor did I get until the pandemic. Okay. I will say that I did have that, like, again, one friend that I was connected to throughout that time period. So from my teenage years up until about my early 20s, every so often I would have like a friend that I was really close to, but I didn't necessarily feel that I was her best friend because she had other friends. So I kind of always found myself wondering and pondering when I'm going to have my best friend that also considers me her best friend, and when am I going to have like those group of girls that I can call my girls. Like, it's something that I had always wanted. And I would say that the person that I was at that time, I won't blame it all on them, but I also am not gonna blame it all on me either. I feel like it's both ends. When I was younger, I was very much, who I was. I had a lot of trauma and issues and just things that I hadn't worked through. I didn't have the awareness that I was dealing with these things. And so being young and like going off to college, for example, like, this is your first experience out on your own. And I was definitely, expressing all the things that have been sewn into me. And a lot of the times I got very much the same feedback about who I was and showing up as. I was aggressive, I was rude. Some people thought I was just mean off hand. They didn't even get to know me. Maybe stuck up as well. And really and truly, my heart was to connect with people. My heart was to, have deep, meaningful relationships with people, but I just didn't know how. I would also say, in turn, I was dealing with people that didn't have the grace, didn't have the patience, didn't have the understanding, and didn't have the love for me. I would say that I had a lot of surface friends. I had a lot of friends that I was just like cool with, go to the parties with, maybe hang out with every once in a while, but there was nothing deep that developed from those friendships. And I would say that a part of it was probably the way I was presenting as, unaware, of course. But I also feel that there were people that just were not good, like, at least who they were at that time. Like, I dealt with like those bullies that disguise themselves as friends, those girls that would be in your face, smiling, kikiing it up, talking all kinds of, love and encouragement and support in your face, but behind your back, they got a lot of shit to say. I had some friends that would throw me under the bus. And these are friends that I would like fight for. These were friends that I was rooting for, and they, I would hear from like a little bird or from some other friend that, oh, such and such was talking about you and such was saying this and that about you, and I just thought that was fake and da 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 da. And then even this friend that's talking to me, I'm like, well, what did you say? You running to me to tell me who said what? What did you say? Again, these are the same people that will claim that they are your friend, but they don't root for you, they're not advocating for you, they're not defending you in your absence. And friends like that, like, if you're not defending me in my absence, then why are you in my presence? If you are not defending me in my absence, why are you in my presence? Flee. You know, again, I had to go through the ringer when it came to like friendship, because ultimately I was dealing with issues that I didn't come to understand and work through until later on, as well as dealing with people that weren't really for me. So those two together just was a recipe for disaster, and had me stuck for a long time until I started doing work on myself. I started healing. I started going to therapy. I started journaling again. I started just processing and really sitting within myself, like, what's up? Like, what's going on? Who are you? Why are you friends with people that do not like you? Why are you friends with people that do not show up for you? Why are you friends with people that are low-key bullies and mean to you? What's up? Like, it's saying a lot about you why you're friends with people that are not really for you. I've talked about, you know, my story and how I grew up, my trauma, this and the third, so I don't want to keep rehashing it, but I know a lot of it stems from that. Like, I didn't really see healthy friendships displayed before me growing up. Not with, you know, older women, with, you know, maybe my aunties and my mom, and not even just with like cousins or anything, because I didn't really grow up with a bunch of cousins around me. So I was just kind of figuring it out on my own, and the environment I came from wasn't really the most like healthiest either. So I'm literally just putting out what was sown into me. I have done a lot of like self-forgiveness and forgiving other people as well, because, you know, we're young, we're in our early 20s, later teens, so what do we know and understand about, oh, she must have came from a really bad environment, or, you know. And it's not too many people that were thinking that way. They just probably were like, oh, okay, well, she's not somebody I want to be friends with, so I'm gonna keep it moving. Or, you know what, we'll just use her. She clearly looks like she's desperate for friends, even though she don't know how to be one, so, or she doesn't know how to have one, so we'll just take advantage. I dealt with that a lot. It was very traumatic, very disheartening, very just, I just didn't understand, like, okay, why can't I find my own people? Why can't I find my own friends? You know, dealing with a lot of people pleasing, just holding on to people just because I wanted to be, I just wanted to have friends. I didn't want to be alone. I didn't know how to just be okay with the fact that this was where I was at. And so I eventually got to a place where this is where I was at. And funny enough, I feel like once you get to a place where you surrender and let go of this idea of having the girl group or having that best friend, that's when it comes. In the pandemic, I had a friend put together this book club, and I met a bunch of girls in that group, and we eventually dwindled down to like a number, I would say about maybe about roughly 7 to 12 of us. And, you know, we were doing the book club thing. We were hanging out. We were talking to each other every so often. And, you know, I was like, wow, I'm so grateful that God just blessed me with these group of girls, something that I had always wanted, and now it's right here in my face. And now years later, of course, we have all, you know, grown and transitioned into the things that we're currently doing, and I feel like the love is always still there, but just that was my first experience of being in what I felt like was a healthy, safe friend group. As well as in the pandemic, I met my best friend, and till this very day we are best friends, and that is my girl, that is my rock. And she is also someone that considers me her best friend too, so I feel like that was such a blessing and a prayer answered, that I not only found my girl group but also found my best friend. And I just feel like this is exactly how friendship should look like. And I feel like it only started once I started doing my work, once I started healing, once I started going to therapy, once I started, you know, asking myself the deep questions, the hard questions. So my camera died. But what I was trying to say was, ultimately, like, I feel grateful and blessed to have the friendships that I have and be connected to the girls that I'm connected to now. It took a lot of work, it took a lot of healing, it took a lot of growing, and I can say that the season of sisterhood and friendship right now for me is really sweet and beautiful. I currently have a new group of girlfriends that I am walking with. And I think that's one thing about life that we also need to come to understand, that the girls that you may have started walking with may not be the girls you completely end with. And it doesn't mean that you guys aren't friends anymore. It doesn't mean that you guys don't rock with each other. It just could be that we are in different seasons and you're pursuing dreams, or you're handling business, or you got what you got going on, and we reconnect every once in a while. And that's cool. And that's just what works for us in this season. And simultaneously, I do have my group of girls. I do have my core that we have our group chat popping. We have, you know, monthly dinners with each other. We hang out every, you know, so often. And so I feel very blessed and fulfilled in that area, and just grateful again to God for, you know, providing that, because community is important. It's not healthy, or it's not necessarily God's plan for us to be alone. I don't think that when I was dealing with my loneliness and isolation and just dealing with a lot of fake friends, that was what God wanted for me, or that was his plan. And maybe in some sense or some way it was ordained for me to walk through that, so that way I can learn my lessons and learn and receive whatever wisdom I was supposed to get from it, so that way I can apply it to the current relationships that I have now. I am not the same girl I was 10 years ago. And we thank God. I'm not even the same girl I was 5 years ago, a year ago, even that. I feel like my friendships have evolved as I've evolved, and I know I now require, you know, my friendships to look a little bit different. Like maybe when I was younger, I was a little bit more free and more open to receive whatever, but I'm also in a place where I've reflected and processed the friendships and relationships that I've had, and that I was till this day still dealing with. And I'm realizing like, oh, okay, this friend is not really showing up as a friend anymore, or not showing up a friend at all. And I'm going to go ahead and let it go and put up a boundary that this is what is expected. And I don't think there's anything wrong with having boundaries or expectations, because that only protects you and the other person. So that way you're not overly playing a role in their life, and you're not putting certain expectations on people that may not have the capacity or the bandwidth to show up in their way. So I've been able to release and let go a lot of expectations and beliefs that I had about certain friends. Again, not because that these are bad people, or not because I don't think they're worthy of being friends with me, but because I just understand that people are people. They are who they are. I am who I am. And sometimes we just don't align, or maybe it's just not the right season. And I'm okay with that, because I have my people. And baby, I'm good, okay? I am tapped out, honey. I'm tapped out. I'm tapped out. I'm not saying I don't have room to have, you know, more connections and build community with other people, but I will say right now I'm tapped with the inner circle and my day ones, my best friend. Like, I got it. I got it, and I'm very blessed. And I'm also open to whoever is aligned in being able to, you know, show up in the way I show up. I'm open to whatever else God has for me. I'm open to, you know, any new best friends or new close friends. And I'm also focused and intentional on the ones that are present and showing up for me. I would also say, like, I struggled with like overly focusing my attention on people who aren't showing up for me, being fake, not being a real friend, X, Y, and Z, treating me weird or acting funny. And I think, you know, it's human nature to notice that, because it's like, okay, bro, what's up? Like, you say you're my friend, but it's how you acting, it's how you showing up. When whole time the people that are showing up for you, the people that are supporting you, the people that are rooting for you, the people that are literally in your present, you're neglecting them. You're not giving them their flowers. And so I've learned to redirect my focus too, because it's so easy for us to be like, oh, like just focusing on the fake. We're prone to focus on what's bad and what's negative and not what's not working, and neglecting what is working and what is good and what is beautiful and what is positive and what is love. So doing that has definitely made my life a lot more full and more intentional and more positive and healthy and loving. rather than like feeling like I'm losing or I'm constantly experiencing a loss or a negative experience. We ain't got time for that. So I have learned a lot of lessons. I feel like people pleasing was one of them. People pleasing had to die. Okay, like people pleasing is still something that I'm killing every day. Like I feel like I kill it one day and it just pops back alive the next day. So it's something that I kill as often as I can. Boundaries is something that I'm also learning, like being friends with people that cross boundaries, or you know, they thought they were being a real friend by sharing certain news with me that honestly anybody kind of in their right mind wouldn't share, you know what I'm saying? Or you know, just people that feel like because they're friends with you, like there's this like enmeshment in the relationship, and it's like, baby, I'm still my own person. Okay, and so are you. And so I look at those kind of people, they still have some wounds they gotta work through, just like I had wounds I had to work through, you know what I'm saying? And I feel that everybody has the room and grace to grow. I just also have to recognize that not everybody I can be friends with, not everybody I have to save. And that was my problem too. I felt like I always had to be the savior or the fixer or the helper. And I feel like if we're not growing together, like if I find myself constantly having to encourage you, uplift you, or pour into you, now I see you as an assignment. And those two I don't mix. I don't mix friendship and assignment together. Like either you're my friend and we're challenging each other, we're growing together, we're helping each other, we're encouraging, like we're literally sharpening each other, iron sharpens iron. Or you're just an assignment and I'm supposed to just pour into you, I'm supposed to water you, I'm supposed to give life to you. I have mentors and people that, you know, a therapist, whoever I go to be poured into. Like I have people that pour into me. I'm not going to call them friend. They're just my mentors, the people that I look up to, or my healers, my whoever, you know what I'm talking about? So the same goes the other way. I had to learn to separate the two because I believe that just those two cannot mix, honey. What other lessons? I feel like there's so many lessons, like dealing with friends that are in competition with you, dealing with friends that are jealous of you, dealing with friends that, you know, you guys were super close and then y'all just drift away. Like there's so many types of experiences with friends that I feel like the regular human being will walk through and experience in some point in their life. And it's important for you to really sit with those lessons, sit with those experiences and learn whatever you're supposed to learn. And from there, you're able to decipher, okay, this is what a real friend looks like for me. And this is how I show up as a real friend. So I feel like I can go on and into so many detail about just like the specifics of like this kind of friend and that kind of friend and this red flag and that red flag. And I'm sure I can make some videos more specific and more broken down. I also feel like we will be here all day if I went into all the details. I feel like just kind of giving you more of a summary and giving you more of an overview of what my experience of friendship has been like for me was the best way to express this message, because I know that there's somebody out there that is currently maybe dealing with grief with a friend, dealing with not having friends, feeling alone, feeling isolated, maybe questioning the friend group that they're around, or maybe or maybe even experiencing a very fruitful and sweet season with friends and just want to get more inspiration or knowledge of what friendship looks like or what friendship could be. And so I hope that this video was pretty much an overview of all of that. Now again, like I can make more videos going into more detail, but again, I don't want it to be here all day if I went into all of it, because there's so much. But yeah, I would say that doing my work, healing, forgiving myself, and even forgiving those that have hurt me has helped me let that season of my life go so I can be open to the season that I'm currently walking in. And I'm again forever grateful to God and the sisters that I walk with that have just brought the sweet love and joy into my life. So I hope this video was encouraging and inspiring, and maybe you learned something out of it. Let me know if you guys would like more videos on like friendships. I would love to break more different topics, like subtopics in the topic of friendship down. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys. I love you guys and thank you for watching. See you in my next video.